When I say Ricky, say Rambo Ricky. When I say Ricky, say Rambo Ricky.
Hi, my name is Tequila Mockingbird, and you are watching Tequila TV. Today, we interview two artists that are deeply involved in promoting fashion in Los Angeles, Kenn and Korrie HAZE. We discussed an event that they are creating during Fashion Week. It is called Sanctuary, Style, Art, and Music. In March of this year, TTV went to St. John's Cathedral near downtown Los Angeles and attended one of their sanctuary events. It was held during LA Fashion Week and featured a fashion show from 8 or 9 clothing designers. The night included performances by different musicians and DJs, and the show showcased art from several prominent artists. Drink and food sponsors provided tasty refreshments. It was a spectacular evening, and the duo hoped to expand the Sanctuary brand with similar events in other cities such as New York, London, etc. TTV loves how the Sanctuary events embrace many different art forms, inclusive with fashion. In fact, Kenn and Korrie are having another big Sanctuary gala in Los Angeles. It will be on October 11th and 12th. It is at a new venue, the First Congregational Church of Los Angeles. There will be a huge lineup of music mavens, visual artists, dancers, recording artists, technology collaborators, and of course, fashion designers from all over the world. The following is TTV's interview, and there are clips of last March's Sanctuary event in between. Enjoy!
You know, like back then, there was no social media or reality TV, and so the way people were able to express themselves or tell their story was through art. And so that's a big sort of esoterical reason why we love the idea of Sanctuary and housing this platform within those walls, those creative walls that go back as far as, you know, our history tells us. So to answer your question, we want to show the world, and particularly young people, because they're our future, that this is okay. And it's not only okay, but it's necessary, and it's a part of our culture and should be an even bigger part.
How did you both meet?
How did we meet?
Let Korrie start. And
so actually, that's an interesting one. So we actually met through his son Fenton. And I ended up adding him on Facebook one day. I'm like, oh my God, he's such an adorable little model. And I was a runway model at New York this time. And he ended up adding me after because he was controlling his account.
Well, of course, I gotta make sure he's not like creepy or whatever.
how old is your son?
He's 8 now.
Yeah. But we ended up meeting officially. I was walking the runway at New York Fashion Week, and he was hosting the red carpet, and I was actually walking from Milan Breton, who's a famous Taiwanese designer, and yeah, we just kind of hit it off. It was just a battle ever since.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be this way, but it is.
Yeah.
So it's perfect and fluid and organic and crazy and makes no sense on paper, but here we are.
It's perfect. We like to call it perfectly imperfect.
Right. Or imperfectly perfect, maybe? I don't know. There's a t-shirt in there somewhere.
Does he inspire you with your fashions, Kenn?
Surely. Oh, I thought you were asking him.
I think I do. I think I inspire
He does.
him.
He
Do
gives
you
me
design too?
I do.
He gives me a run for my money, honestly. Like, you know, he's kind of a tad bit more masculine than me. And, you know, when we first met, I never dreamed that he would, you know, be the amazing talent in terms of styling and design that he is, but he's very good. In fact, we, you know, in a lot of ways and a lot of times we argue over who's wearing what and whose is better, and that whole thing.
We're very competitive.
Very competitive, but it brings fire and spice to the already fiery and spicy relationship. We just had our anniversary too, by the way.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
You're married for 1 year now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're watching Tequila TV with Kenn and Korrie, and they are fantastic. When you became interested in fashion?
Oh God, Lord. I'm pretty sure I came out of the womb wearing sequins or something. I don't know. I mean, I've just always had a desire and a intent and a sort of innate penchant for it. I remember when I was young, very quickly my mom, again, we're in Boonville, Mississippi, mind you, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, not, and I remember very early my mom realized that I could be of use to her in this department, so she would always ask me, or is this outfit okay, or whatever. I would always go shopping and help her pick out, her wardrobe and things. But at the same time, I always also designed and did the decor in all of our homes. So it was clear. Gray HAZE Media, obviously, I'm Kenn Gray. This is Korrie HAZE. We're Kenn Gray HAZE and Korrie Gray HAZE. So Gray HAZE Media is our company that sort of everything else falls under. So, because we don't only do Fashion Week, we also produce other types of events. We have several other companies that fall under that umbrella of Gray HAZE Media.
I mean, we designed 4 different clothing lines ourselves.
Right.
We have a talent management company and music stuff and so much.
Yeah, we're involved in everything from cannabis to fashion to music. I mean, you name it.
What do you think of the fashion scene in Los Angeles as compared to New York or something?
Well, to us, and we really utilize my answer that I'm about to give you in moving forward. So each market really has a different purpose. The LA market is, in the fashion industry anyway, is absolutely geared more toward a PR and marketing standpoint, you know, with the celebrities and the social media and that sort of thing. And, you know, and most designers, or a lot of designers here who are actually housed in LA, really move towards a more custom business model. So they're doing a lot more custom gowns, you know, for celebrities or wealthy folks, you know, for events and that sort of thing. Versus New York, which is a more industry driven fashion week, you know, situation. And so, you know, there's more opportunities during the New York Fashion Weeks for buyers of actual retailers, you know, coming and being exposed to the lines and potentially buying them for their stores and whatnot. And then London's sort of kind of a mix of both. And we look at London really as sort of a catalyst for trend, you know, and a catalyst for the next thing. And, you know, they're in a lot of ways, and you can say this about any market really, but I just love saying this about London, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but I think that they really sort of on the forefront a little bit more, you know, with what's coming. And I remember I was actually invited to go to London fall before last, I believe, to accept an award for the United States Best Blog. And it was this big ceremony, Academy Award situation event, and I got this award. And while I was there, and that was my first time to be in London, which I find odd because, you know, I started on the Travel Channel series and all this stuff. I've traveled all over the world, but never had I been to London until a couple years ago. So I was in London. I said, listen, while I'm here, I am going to get a London hairdo because, you know, I don't know, that's just what I think about when I think of London, like some wild London hairdo, not like a rainbow mohawk or whatever. But I came out of that salon with platinum, updo, like friggin' John Travolta jobbing. And so that's kind of what I mean. I feel like it's kind of one of those places that gives zero fucks, you know, and you can really just like create what you want, and it can look like what you want, and it will be accepted widely. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. We're talking about acceptance and being able to just be.
Since you're based in LA now, do you have any problems going to New York or London and trying to do events there, or do you find any
No, I mean,
backlash?
I'm from New York. That's my hometown. I'm from Lower East Side. So it's kind of like,
Wow.
It is kind of like him going home, but you know, like most of your like associates on the Lower East Side are not people we're going to call to help us with fashion. But no, just teasing. But you know, we're both very connected, you know, in pretty well every market. You know, like I've spent the last 30 years sort of developing my network, and I didn't really know all the scope of why I was doing this, but I'm so good and always have been good at keeping up with people, right? And so even though I didn't know how they would be a part of me or what I was doing, now I know. Like I've come to sort of this full circle moment where, you know, we have this amazing opportunity to really give something, you know, to the world. And I'm daily, constantly looking back, you know, they call me the guy with the golden Rolodex, and I'm flipping that Rolodex and on the daily finding people from way back when who have an amazing thing to offer, you know, to our platform or what we're doing.
So you're finding all the different cities supportive of
yes,
what you're doing. That's fabulous, because a lot of times people are regional and...
Well, and you know, and this industry is very competitive too, particularly the fashion show production, you know, sector of the industry. And what we've done, I mean, immediately after
our second season,
we sat down with some of the other producers and we were like, look, we are not trying to compete with anybody. We want everybody to win here. There's plenty, actually too many creative people for us to all actually help. So like, let's stop all this competitive BS and work together.
We organized a meeting to have a lot of them kind of set together and organize a set of dates of, hey, let's come together and say, let's plan together when we're all going to do our own show.
Right.
And let's not compete and take the media from each other, and let's really help each other and support each other.
It's really hard when, you know, productions are doing things on the same days and things, because the media can only be at one place. You know, we had 150 something media at our event, but we very purposefully, you know, scheduled it so that it was not in conflict with anything else, but that's not always easy or what everybody else is interested in doing. So, in other words, we're trying to spearhead this sort of new way and new attitude within, the fashion show production industry to all get along and all be supportive of one another. We try to go to all the other shows and support them and post about them and encourage the public to be a part of what they're doing too, and that's obviously the way it should be.
Absolutely.
I mean, so one of the things that we love about how we're sort of approaching, what we're doing is trying to create all the pieces and parts that would go into building someone else's brand. And so bringing in, like we said before, the technology components, branding components, social media components, and doing that, like we're only 2 people and we've got a great team, but like bringing in other companies and other collaborators, so that we can offer like a real solid, succinct, full range of brand building for these companies and these startups, or these designers, or whoever they are. And we do that from bringing these other companies and getting them involved, but also leading by example. So like, for instance, we have our own fragrance line coming out this fall.
It's kind of funny. It's called Sanctuary, Sinful, and Confession. Which kind of goes side in hand with these outfits, even.
Well, it's kind of how we are, and it's sort of ironic because he's supposedly the sinful one and I'm supposedly the angelic one, but it's kind of not that way. But I guess we both flip back and forth and fight over which one is which. But it's kind of, though, it kind of goes back to the original thing. Like, it's sort of that juxtaposition between what has been the case and what's now we hope to be the case, or the good and the bad, and I've always been a real proponent of juxtaposition, really, in anything. Even in my interior design, like my whole gig, and it's been written about a million times, was the old and the new together. Very modern, very nostalgic, blending and melding into a pot of fabulousness. That's cover worthy. So that's kind of what it's about. So that's one example of how we lead by example, sort of showing our brands that we're working with different approaches and different things you can do, from the magazine to the fragrance to all the other technologies that we're working with. So it's all so exciting, and moving way forward, like obviously after this next season, we'll want to, move into 2 or 3 new markets. What those will be, we kind of know, but we'll get to that later.
Stop hustling, no. Yeah, we gonna keep grinding on this smoke. Oh yeah, never spent there on the job.
Jones again for the second season, and like I said before, we were praying for a couple hundred people, and we had almost 2,000. So we outgrew that venue. So we've been forced really to find a new venue, and so October, the next sanctuary will be at the First Congregational Church of LA, which is Koreatown, 6th to Commonwealth.
It's actually right around the corner.
Absolutely gorgeous. It actually has the largest pipe organ in a church in the world with 22,000 pipes. It's insane. So obviously we're going to try to utilize that in a magical way. And the other wonderful thing about it is it has 2 sanctuaries.
So we'll be having the main stage fashion show in one sanctuary, which is the big one, and then we have a smaller sanctuary that will be doing fashion presentations.
Wow.
So it'll be simultaneously.
Yeah.
You'll be having one designer going to the big runway, and then right after that, the models will be going in, so you can have the hands-on, personal experience with all the garments.
Yeah, which is so great, and the designers love this. So in the smaller sanctuary, like you said, we'll have a fashion presentation following some of the shows where the models will come in and basically mannequin pose for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and give the attendees and the press and media an opportunity to really look and be up close to the collections in a way that you just can't do when they're slamming them, pushing them down the runway for 10 seconds. So we're really excited about that. It's again another added value to building these brands.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for being who you are, because you're such a wonderful,
Thank you, baby.
amazing group of guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, both of you.
Well, we love you and we appreciate you so much. Honestly, we're super humbled and.
Oh, don't forget Max. Let's talk about Prince Max.
Oh, listen, he has been such an advocate for us, like you.
Yes.
But Prince Mario Max is just such a special person, and a creative himself. He just starred on the new Geico commercial, which is so hilarious and cute. I think it's got like 20 million views now or something crazy. But he came in and we had him host our very first season in October, and he was so precious to do that. And immediately he's like, I am your host for every event that you ever do.
Fantastic.
Insisted. So sorry, sorry Brad Pitt, but you can't host. I mean, he's Prince Mario is the host for Sanctuary, I guess, from now till Kingdom Come. So, but we love him, and we love him so much in that role. He does a really great job and makes everyone in the whole entire experience feel so welcome and sort of leads the charge.
Yes, he does.
And it never hurts to have some royalty at your event.
No.
We have a very special evening for you, as I've said, and we have a very special person to help me host it. Prince Mario Max, everyone.
This is all. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Prince Mario Max Schaumburg-Lippe. My family founded Hamburg, Lübeck, and Kiel in Germany. And my grandmother is the Princess of Denmark, so I'm a real prince from Europe. But I came here for American royalty, royalty of fashion. I love fashion, I love the arts. Do we love fashion? Absolutely we do. This is an amazing event because it is put together by 2 of my most dear, my most amazing, my most spectacular, and 2 of the coolest friends I have the pleasure to have in my life. And that is Korrie and Kenn. Kenn and Korrie, Korrie and Kenn. And I am so happy that I have witnessed their rise to this new levels, to their new production here, the Sanctuary Fashion Weeks here in LA.
Thank you for
being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart beats true, you're a pal and a confidant.
And if we
you would see the biggest gift, and the hard times would say thank you for being a friend. Yes, girl. And sing.